This whole issue of support is kind of tricky. For many years, when my husband was having a bad week, I would send him flowers to his office, thinking at some point in time, when I was having a bad week, he would send me flowers. Never happened. Took these about 15 years for these two mental health professionals to talk about this, and when we did, Warren would say, he said, well, it was always kind of interesting getting the flowers, but I'm not really into flowers. And I said, well, what would you find supportive then? He said, well, if I'm having a bad week, I'd like to talk about it. And I said, oh my God, I've already lived it. The last thing I want to do is talk about it. I was giving to him what I wanted. He was giving to me what he wanted. It just didn't fit. So the more you can be very cognizant of what you need and talk about that directly and encourage your team members to do the same things, then you can be customizing the type of support that you give. Some people, if I'm having a bad week, sit down and help me do some problem solving. Sit down and talk with me about something non-work related so I can be reminded I have a life. Let me have an extra 10-minute break so I can go sit in the storeroom in the dark by myself. All of those are perfectly legitimate, but they're really different. And as important as emotional support is, we also need to be sure that we are advocating for and providing tangible aid. It's all well and good to say, I feel your pain, but if you don't do anything about it, that's not a good message. So if you're running shorthanded, that means fighting with the people above, so you bring in some temp people, pull back on some of the expectations for productivity, look at some deadlines things. It's not just say, I feel your pain, but what can I do to make sure to take some of this off of your shoulders? It is one of the hardest things about being in the middle is you're having to enforce things you didn't have input on, but it also means you have to give the message to the people above you about what the folks in your team are dealing with so they can be a little bit more understanding of that.